In the quiet suburbs of California during the late 1970s, a shadow moved under the cover of darkness. Silent, strategic, and merciless, he began as a prowler, escalating to a rapist. Ultimately, he became one of the most notorious serial killers. For decades, he was a ghost, untouched and unrecognized, seemingly unstoppable. He terrorized an entire state. Tonight, we dive into the chilling story of this man, the incredible breakthrough that finally brought him down. This is the Golden State Killer. The nightmare began in Sacramento, California. In the summer of 1976, a series of break-ins occurred. These crimes were initially dismissed as isolated incidents, but a sinister pattern slowly emerged. Police discovered the intruder meticulously studied his victims. He stalked neighborhoods for days, disabling porch lights. He slipped through unlocked windows, learning daily routines. Then he struck, committing over 50 assaults. His victims ranged from teenagers to couples at home. He tied his victims using shoelaces or household items. Often, he forced partners to lie helpless while he assaulted. Communities were terrified, organizing neighborhood watches. Gun sales spiked as fear spread through the area. People began sleeping with their windows nailed shut. But the East Area rapist always stayed one step ahead. Just as police thought they learned his patterns, he vanished. Months passed, then years. Authorities started to believe the attacks were over, but they weren't. A new predator emerged in the South. Starting in 1980, a series of brutal murders shook communities. The killer was meticulous, breaking in at night. He attacked couples with eerie precision, but there was something different now, something darker. The assaults ended in death. This new killer became known as the original Night Stalker. Investigators had no idea they were hunting the same man. Different counties, different decades, yet the blueprint was the same. The violence continued until 1986, and then silence. For more than 30 years, the killer's identity remained hidden. No arrests, no real suspects, just a trail of trauma and fear across the state. As the years passed, the list of victims grew. The number of investigators involved multiplied. Cases were reopened, re-examined, and connected. By the early 2000s, cold case detectives confirmed the East Area rapist and the original Night Stalker were the same man. They called him the Golden State Killer. But authorities had a problem. The forensic technology wasn't strong enough. DNA evidence existed, but it was like chasing a phantom. Detectives followed thousands of tips. They ran suspects through polygraphs and collected samples. They interrogated people who had moved on with their lives. Still, nothing. The case grew colder. Some officers retired, and some passed away. Others refused to give up, even after decades. And then, a new scientific method changed everything. In early 2018, investigators turned to a cutting-edge idea. Genetic genealogy was used to trace ancestry. Police uploaded the killer's DNA profile to a public database. It didn't match anyone directly, but found distant relatives. Investigators built out an enormous family tree, branch by branch. They searched for someone who fit the age, location, and history. After months of work, one name remained. A former police officer, a man who lived in California, a man who had quietly retired and lived a quiet life. Joseph James DeAngelo was the name they found. Detectives collected DNA from items he had thrown away. They tested it to confirm their suspicions. It was a perfect match. After more than 40 years, the Golden State Killer finally had a name. On April 24, 2018, authorities moved in on a home. Neighbors watched as a frail man was taken away. He was 72 years old. Joseph DeAngelo looked nothing like a predator, but the evidence was undeniable. He was charged with 13 murders, connected to dozens more crimes. Courtrooms filled with survivors, finally able to look him in the eyes. In 2020, Joseph DeAngelo pleaded guilty. He faced multiple counts of murder and kidnapping. His plea was to avoid the death penalty. He offered no explanations or apologies. Only a whispered phrase at the end, "I'm truly sorry," he said. But those words rang hollow. Decades of fear and grief followed his crimes. DeAngelo was sentenced to life in prison. He will die behind bars. For the victims, it wasn't closure, but it was justice, finally served. The Golden State Killer's reign of terror lasted a decade, but his shadow lingered for more than 40 years. His capture marked not only the end of a long hunt, but the beginning of a new era in criminal investigation, an era where science can outsmart even the most elusive predator. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and remember, history may hide monsters, but truth always finds a way to reveal them. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more true crime stories, hit the next video right now. I've got another case waiting for you, one that's just as shocking and just as real. See you there.